Unearth the chilling truths. Dive into the real stories lurking behind your favorite horror movies. Prepare for a spine-tingling journey. Horror, as a genre, has long captivated audiences with its ability to delve into the deepest, darkest corners of the human psyche. It's not merely the supernatural or the fantastical that invokes fear. Often it's the blurring of lines between reality and fiction that truly unsettles. Today we explores the spine-chilling realm where real-life events have inspired some of the most iconic horror films in cinematic history. From demonic possessions and haunted objects, to unspeakable human cruelties and enigmatic folklore, these stories have transcended their origins to become part of our collective nightmares. By examining films such as The Exorcist, The Conjuring, The Amityville Horror, The Girl Next Door, The Possession, and The Mothman Prophecies, we uncover not just the tales that inspired them, but also their impact on culture and their reflection of human fears and beliefs. As we journey through these harrowing stories, we find that sometimes the most terrifying horrors are those rooted in reality. The Exorcism and The Exorcist, unraveling the terrifying truths. Introduction to The Exorcist. In 1973, the horror film landscape was forever altered by William Friedkin's The Exorcist. This movie not only set new standards for the genre, but also introduced audiences worldwide to the chilling concept of demonic possession. Based on William Peter Blatty's 1971 novel of the same name, The Exorcist was heralded for its terrifying realism, a quality that can be attributed to its roots in a real-life exorcism that occurred in the late 1940s. The real-life exorcism of Roland Doe, the true story that inspired The Exorcist, centers around a young boy, pseudonymously known as Roland Doe, to protect his identity. The events began in the late 1940s in Cottage City, Maryland. Roland, described as an ordinary and unremarkable boy, started to experience strange phenomena following his aunt's death, with whom he had been very close. The family reported inexplicable noises, objects moving by themselves, and the boy exhibiting bizarre and frightening behavior. Seeking help, Roland's family turned to their Lutheran pastor, who, after witnessing the strange occurrences, referred them to a Catholic priest. The priest, convinced that Roland was under demonic influence, sought permission to perform an exorcism. The rite of exorcism, an ancient practice within the Catholic Church, is considered a last resort, meant to expel demons from individuals believed to be possessed. The exorcism rituals and aftermath. The exorcism of Roland Doe was conducted by several priests and went on for several weeks. Reports from these sessions detailed disturbing scenes, Roland speaking in tongues, showing aversion to sacred objects, and displaying superhuman strength. The priests even claimed to have seen words like evil and hell appear in welts on his skin. The climax of the ordeal was marked by Roland's violent outburst, during which one of the priests was injured. The exorcism was eventually deemed successful, and Roland was said to have returned to normal life, with no memory of the events. Adaptation into The Exorcist. When adapting these events into his novel, Blatty chose to change Roland's character to a young girl named Reagan, portrayed in the film by Linda Blair. This change was not just a creative decision, but also a strategic move to protect the privacy of the real individual involved. The film depicted the exorcism process with intense visual and auditory effects, bringing the horror of demonic possession to a visceral level for viewers. Friedkin's direction, combined with innovative special effects and sound design, created an atmosphere of dread that was almost palpable. Cultural and psychological impact. The Exorcist went beyond just being a box office success. It became a cultural phenomenon. It sparked widespread discussions about the nature of evil, the power of faith, and the mysteries of the supernatural. Psychologically, it tapped into deep-seated fears, especially concerning the vulnerability of children. The movie also brought the concept of exorcism into the public consciousness, influencing both popular culture and religious belief. Let's explore another fascinating instance where real-life events inspired a renowned horror film, the story behind the Conjuring series, rooted in the cases of paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. Ed and Lorraine Warren's cases and the Conjuring series between reality and screen, the paranormal legacy of the Warrens. Ed and Lorraine Warren, a husband and wife team, became synonymous with paranormal investigation in the latter half of the 20th century. Ed, a self-taught demonologist, and Lorraine, a purported clairvoyant, tackled some of the most notorious supernatural cases in history. Their investigations provided the basis for several films in the Conjuring universe, blending real-life horror with cinematic storytelling, from case files to cinematic frights. The first film in the series, The Conjuring, 2013, directed by James Wan, draws from the Warrens' investigation of the Perron family's farmhouse in Harrisville, Rhode Island in the 1970s. The Perrons reported disturbing occurrences, such as strange noises, unexplained chills, and even ghostly apparitions. The Warrens attributed these events to a witch's curse from the 18th century. In translating these events to film, Wan balanced the Warrens' case files with creative liberties, crafting a narrative that was both gripping and hauntingly plausible. Annabelle, from a Raggedy Ann doll to a cinematic icon. Another notable case from the Warrens' archives is the story of the Annabelle doll. In reality, the doll was a Raggedy Ann, gifted to a nursing student in the 1970s. The doll reportedly exhibited malicious and frightening behavior, prompting the Warrens to declare it demonically possessed. The film adaptation, Annabelle, 2014, transformed the unassuming Raggedy Ann into a sinister porcelain doll, amplifying the horror while maintaining the essence of the true story. Analyzing fact and fiction. The Warrens' involvement in these cases has been a subject of debate. Critics argue that their accounts were exaggerated or even fabricated. However, the eerie nature of their stories, combined with the Warrens' firm assertions of their truth, has captivated the public's imagination. The films, while dramatized, stay true to the essence of the Warrens' experiences, presenting a chilling intersection of reality and supernatural fiction. Cultural impact of the Warrens and the Conjuring universe. The films based on the Warrens' cases have not only enjoyed commercial success but also influenced public perceptions of the paranormal. They revitalized interest in ghost stories and psychic phenomena, often blurring the lines between fact and fiction in the minds of viewers. The Warrens themselves, through these cinematic portrayals, have become almost legendary figures in the realm of supernatural investigation. Next, we delve into the story behind the Amityville Horror, a film that not only terrified audiences, but also sparked controversy and debate over the veracity of the haunting it depicted. The Amityville Haunting and the Amityville Horror, a legacy of terror and controversy. The infamous Amityville House. In December 1975, the Lutz family moved into a large Dutch colonial house in Amityville, New York, unaware of the tragic history that lingered within its walls. Just a year prior, the house had been the site of a gruesome crime where Ronald DeFeo Jr. murdered 6 members of his family. This tragic event set the stage for one of the most debated hauntings in American history. The Lutz family's terrifying experience. George and Kathy Lutz, along with their 3 children, claimed to experience a series of disturbing paranormal events during their 28 days in the house. Their accounts included mysterious odors, cold spots, unexplained noises, and even visions of green, slime-like substances and red, glowing eyes. The family's distress reached a peak when, according to their accounts, they were terrorized by an unseen force, leading them to flee the house, never to return. From real-life terror to cinematic horror. The Amityville Horror, 1979, directed by Stuart Rosenberg, brought the Lutz family's ordeal to the big screen. The film, based on Jay Anson's 1977 book of the same name, dramatized the family's experiences, adding elements of horror that resonated with audiences worldwide. It spawned a series of sequels and remakes, each adding to the lore of the Amityville house. Debates over the truth. The authenticity of the Amityville haunting has been the subject of intense debate. Skeptics have pointed to discrepancies in the Lutz family stories and suggested that the haunting was a hoax, concocted for financial gain. Despite these doubts, the tale has endured, capturing the public's imagination and remaining a topic of fascination. Cultural impact of the Amityville Horror. The legacy of the Amityville Horror extends beyond its status as a popular horror film. It has influenced the way people view the supernatural, particularly in relation to haunted houses. The story has become a part of American folklore, a chilling reminder of the thin line between reality and the paranormal. Let's continue our exploration of the true stories behind iconic horror films. The Murder of Sylvia Likens and The Girl Next Door. A horrific reality turned into cinematic terror. The tragic reality of Sylvia Likens. In 1965, Indianapolis became the scene of one of the most horrifying and heart-wrenching crimes in American history. 16-year-old Sylvia Likens was subjected to unimaginable torture and abuse at the hands of Gertrude Banaszewski, a woman her parents had entrusted to care for her. The case shocked the nation, not only due to the gruesome nature of the abuse, but also because of the involvement of children, including Banaszewski's own, in tormenting Sylvia. Literary and cinematic adaptation. The story of Sylvia Lyken's tragic fate was adapted into The Girl Next Door, a novel by Jack Ketchum, which was later turned into a film directed by Gregory Wilson in 2007. While the film retains the core elements of Sylvia's story, it introduces fictionalized characters and scenarios. This adaptation raises ethical questions about how true crime is represented in media, particularly when it involves such sensitive subject matter. Depicting the unthinkable. The Girl Next Door confronts viewers with the grim reality of child abuse and the disturbing capacity for cruelty in seemingly ordinary people. The film's graphic portrayal of abuse and torture is as much a commentary on societal ills as it is a piece of horror cinema. It challenges the audience to reflect on the darker aspects of human nature and the vulnerabilities of those who are supposed to be protected. Ethical considerations and public reception. The adaptation of Sylvia Lyken's story into a horror narrative was met with mixed reactions. While some praised the film for its unflinching look at real-world horrors, others criticized it for exploiting a true tragedy for entertainment. The film walks a fine line between raising awareness of child abuse and sensationalizing a young girl's suffering. Cultural reflections and impact. The Girl Next Door serves as a stark reminder of the true horrors that can exist in everyday life. It challenges viewers to consider the realities behind the fiction and the societal failures that allow such tragedies to occur. The film, while a work of horror, also functions as a poignant reflection on the consequences of neglect, the fragility of innocence, and the need for vigilance in protecting the vulnerable. Let's continue unveiling the real-life events behind other famous horror movies. The Dybbuk Box and the Possession, unleashing a haunting Jewish legend onto the silver screen. Origins of the Dybbuk Box legend. The story of the Dybbuk Box centers around a wine cabinet claimed to be haunted by a Dybbuk, a restless, malicious spirit in Jewish folklore. The legend began with an eBay listing by Kevin Manis, who described a series of eerie experiences after acquiring the box at an estate sale. The box's story, which included tales of nightmares, unexplained health issues, and strange occurrences, quickly captured public imagination and became an internet phenomenon. From internet lore to cinematic horror, this modern urban legend was the inspiration for the 2012 film The Possession, directed by Ola Borndahl and produced by Sam Raimi. The movie reimagines the story, focusing on a young girl who becomes the host of the Dybbuk after purchasing the box at a yard sale. The film blends elements of the traditional Dybbuk legend with the contemporary narrative of the box, creating a bridge between ancient folklore and modern-day horror. Cultural and religious significance. The inclusion of a Dybbuk in The Possession brought a relatively obscure aspect of Jewish folklore to a wider audience. The film explores themes of faith, family, and the battle between good and evil, all through the lens of Jewish mysticism. It offers a rare glimpse into Jewish supernatural beliefs, which are seldom represented in mainstream horror cinema. The Dybbuk Box's impact and reception. The story of the Dybbuk Box, both in its original form and its cinematic adaptation, has been met with skepticism and fascination. While some view the tale as little more than an internet hoax or clever marketing for the film, others believe in the box's supernatural properties. The movie itself received mixed reviews, but it succeeded in bringing a unique and culturally rich legend to the forefront of horror storytelling. Reflections on the intersection of folklore and horror. The Possession demonstrates how ancient myths and legends can be effectively reimagined in modern horror cinema. The film not only entertains, but also invites viewers to explore the rich tapestry of cultural folklore that exists around the world. It serves as a reminder of the power of stories and their ability to transcend time, continually evolving while retaining their core essence. Let's continue our journey into the next true story behind iconic horror movies. The Mothman Legends and the Mothman Prophecies, from folklore to screen. The enigmatic Mothman sightings. The legend of the Mothman, a mysterious creature reported in Point Pleasant, West Virginia in the 1960s, forms a fascinating chapter in American folklore. Described as a large winged humanoid with glowing red eyes, the Mothman was sighted by numerous residents over a period of 13 months. These sightings coincided with a series of strange events and tragic accidents in the area, including the collapse of the Silver Bridge, which claimed 46 lives. Historical and cultural context. The Mothman was more than just a local legend. It became a symbol of the unexplained and the supernatural. The sightings occurred during a tumultuous period in American history, marked by social unrest and a growing interest in paranormal phenomena. The Mothman became a subject of numerous theories, ranging from an undiscovered animal to an ominous harbinger of doom. Adapting the Mothman to film. The Mothman Prophecies, 2002, directed by Mark Pellington, is loosely based on the events in Point Pleasant and draws from John Keel's 1975 book of the same name. The film stars Richard Gere as a journalist who finds himself drawn to the small town of Point Pleasant, where he encounters the eerie legend of the Mothman. The movie blends elements of psychological thriller and supernatural horror, creating an atmosphere of unease and mystery. Analysis of the film adaptation. While the film takes significant creative liberties with the source material, it captures the essence of the Mothman legend's pervasive sense of dread and the inexplicable. It explores themes of fate, premonition, and the thin line between reality and the paranormal. The film's moody cinematography and eerie sound design contribute to its unsettling tone, inviting viewers into the folklore's heart. The impact of folklore on modern horror storytelling. The Mothman Prophecies is a prime example of how folklore can inspire contemporary horror narratives. The film taps into the deep-seated human fascination with the unknown and the unexplainable, bringing a local legend to an international audience. It showcases the enduring power of myths and legends in shaping our understanding and fear of the world around us. Final reflections, the lasting impact of reality-driven horror films. As we navigate the intriguing yet obscure boundary between actual events and cinematic tales, our journey through the real stories behind renowned horror movies unveils a captivating, though often disconcerting, aspect of film. Movies like The Exorcist, The Conjuring, among others, extend beyond mere entertainment. They profoundly resonate with our innate fears and curiosities, frequently obscuring the distinction between myth and reality. These films serve as a reminder that the essence of horror is often woven into the very tapestry of our history and cultural folklore. Moreover, they demonstrate the horror genre's dynamic nature, highlighting its capacity to not just evoke fear, but also mirror societal concerns and cultural ideologies. In wrapping up, it becomes clear that these true event-based films significantly enrich the horror film landscape. They invite viewers to confront the inconceivable, to interrogate the mysterious, and to contemplate the essence of evil and the paranormal. The narratives behind these movies continue to captivate, frighten, and intrigue us, affirming that the most gripping horror stories are often those that delicately balance between the chilling realities of life and the obscure domains of cinema. Were these real-life horror tales spine-chilling for you? If this foray into the shadowy world of horror cinema captivated you, please remember to hit like and subscribe for more enthralling stories from TopThangs. We're eager to hear your thoughts in the comments. Let us know which horror movie backstory fascinated you the most. And for a continued journey through mysteries and extraordinary content, follow us across all our social media channels. Remain inquisitive and persist in your quest to uncover the unknown.